And welcome back, Beacons. Today we got an exciting match, League of Legends in the Division 3 NECC National Quarterfinals taking on University of Alabama in Huntsville. My name's Henry Speedy Kill Ninja, and today I'm joined by
Adam Monsieur. And getting right into this, we're going to take a quick look at the starting band lineups for both of these teams
Yep.
here.
So Valpo on red side. Valpo being the lower seed here, they're going to be the 6th seed taking on the 3 seed. They will be University of Alabama in Huntsville, opting to take the blue side. We'll see that Talia band, that Aurora band, and then for Valpo, going to be on red side, the Cassidy men and the Gwen. And those two are probably going to stay banned unless if we see Valpo picking up that Gwen. But yeah, I mean, really exciting match. I think for the past 6 games we've kept saying that like this League of Legends last time on stream, but it could be today for real this time.
Or something else will happen. But
I
we're
I
going
think I think we've said that the past 5 times. Like this actually could be the last game, but it is actually. There's nothing after nationals.
or
So
we just or you and I just keep losing our credibility here on stream.
hey, I hope we have more and more league. We have a max of 3 matches left, so hopefully we can get all 3. And we will see that Nefiri ban. Nefiri was disabled during the regular or during the divisional playoffs, regional playoffs, I guess. Which Valpo League of Legends placed third in. They came in as the A seed and had a incredible performance, allowing them to get enough points to qualify for nationals, which is points based off of your fall and spring performance, and then also being in that high division, Division 3. There's just less teams to pull from too. So Valpo is finishing 6th and I believe 2nd in qualifying points out of teams who didn't have an automatic bid. And you have an automatic bid if you win your regional conference. But yeah, I mean, League of Legends team having a phenomenal academic year, just to qualify for this game and hoping to get some more games and great wins under our belt. But we are seeing Valpo lock in the misfortune. J4 really like Valpo picking this up. They're going to have a very strong team fight and also a very strong first component to that mid jungle duo.
And I was going to say, and kind of taking a look as we're going to see that Jinx be one. Definitely, for those of you who tuned in kind of last season for season 14, you can see that it was Jinx was an extremely strong pick, almost a pick and ban either way. And we're going to see an immediate response to the Braum Mordekaiser, Braum Jinx, really good combo. That Mord going to be a little bit troublesome, especially because that could, I think, technically Mord can still be in the top or the jungle.
Yeah, Mordekaiser, typically I would say, like, if I didn't know anything, that Mordekaiser would be going top, but he's actually most likely going to be going jungle, based off of Huntsville's previous games. Their jungler likes to blind pick a lot of top laners and play jungle with them, whether it be Jax, Mordekaiser, Gwen, all these kind of traditional top laners that work out pretty well in the jungle. We will see that Yorick ban. Their top laner does play a lot of Yorick, and that can be. He has two tricks. It's Yorick and Kled, two very unique, difficult champions to play against, and especially with that Yorick rework we had in our previous patch after our initial playoffs, we really don't want to see Yorick being played today.
And I was going to say something also a little interesting is we don't normally on a Valpo side you're going to see a response by usually Jakimbo early on, either like art either R2 or R3. I do know that in kind of the specific drafts for this comp specifically, keeping Jakimbo as a last pick is actually something that's been a
Yeah.
point of contention here. We're going to see that Jax pick up from the side of Valpo.
I will say with that Jax pick, this Mordekaiser could flex to the top lane depending on if their top lane plays it because Mordekaiser does pretty well into Jax, just because Jax's main like counter pick, whether like he's countering a champion or they're countering him, is based off his E ability, his dodging auto attacks, and because Mordekaiser, a lot of his damage comes from abilities and comes from passive. But with that being said, we will see a Shen locked in, so going to be some nice additional peeling for the Jinx and also just some additional map presence. And we are going to be gifting our counter pick to Jakimbo. So did see that Rumble get banned out that I think we've been flexing around in a couple different roles and some scrims the past couple weeks. I'm not sure if it actually had any presence in game. And then this is another Annie. We haven't seen any Annies in years. And then I believe our past two series we've had Annie mids. So has a nice lot of range in that mid lane. So you don't have to walk up and have to mess with Chikimbo too much. And wow, this would be quite a shocking pick for Valpo here. As this is something that um, this is like a deep pool for Jakimbo here. I haven't seen this one, I think ever, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't seen technically seen from the color scheme, fire would win against ice. However, with I was gonna say I don't think even my 2 years here in the program that I've seen Jakimbo like run it on Anivia other than like in an Earth or an AIRF and it just randomly getting selected.
Yeah, funny enough, I did play a game of League of Legends earlier today, and I was playing top lane, and the enemy top laner picked Anivia. So maybe Anivia got a buff, although they didn't because I read the patch notes. So, yeah, that's interesting.
Shadow buffs, shadow buffs.
Yeah.
But no, this team comp gonna be relatively interesting. That passive on Anivia is going to make it so that, assuming that it's Jakimbo piloting, that a little bit of extra safety in case he gets caught under turret. But other than that, what do you think about the drafts for these two teams?
It is definitely a unique draft for Valpo, something we're not like too used to seeing. For Alabama, I think it's going to be really, really important for them for their Jinx to get ahead. Because if she doesn't, they're going to be lacking in the damage department, in my opinion. Valpo, it is nice that they do have some damage over time with the Anivia. Maybe that's what they're thinking. Also, some nice tank shred in there. But I think for Valpo, it's how you play these team fights, and it's going to come down to the execution in team fights. I do think Valpo is, while although the team fights are going to be really important, also the Jack side laning, how that goes. But it's really going to come down to the execution of if J4 can get on the Jinx, get on the right targets. If the Law can get on with Rakan, he has some incredible engages that we saw on the Beacon Breakdown season highlights, and then just the MF ult over the top. Her job's pretty easy. You just press the R key and just need your teammates to kind of set you up. But yeah, I mean, I think it's going to come down to execution and playing well, and that's what this Nationals bracket is all about. It's who's going to show up, play their best, because to beat any of these teams in the bracket, it's going to be no easy task.
As I say, I'm excited to look. I'm excited for this first game of this best of three quarterfinal series. But we have about 2 minutes of spectator delay before we're going to get back to you with the first game. So give us just a few minutes here in the booth, and we will be back to you with some game one action.
To Summoner's Rift.
And welcome back to NECC Division 3 quarterfinals. Valpo League of Legends taking on University of
Purchase items
Alabama
until
in
minions
Huntsville.
spawn.
Is it in Huntsville or at Huntsville? I forget.
I think it's at.
I think it's in. Anyways, both teams 5-point in here. I am gonna look real quick. It's in Huntsville. Sorry, I just went dark for a minute. That out. But anyways, Dreadful and Shen just kind of chilling out here. They
Just kind
are vibing.
of having a little bit of fun. We did see that Superbird was able to land a flag on some Mordekaiser, giving first damage of the game off to the side of Valpo here.
I don't know when this Annie update came through, but I think like 2 seasons ago or a season ago. But now she starts with her like full stun without having to charge it up. Interesting Annie change. Anyways, looks like we're gonna have both junglers starting in the top side here. Both junglers, I would expect the full clear. Mordekaiser should definitely full clear. J4 can go for that level 3 gank after his 3 camps mid or even top if he wants to go out of his way, but typically a full clear jungler on the J4. Guess it kind of depends on how the Sandy's positioning, but lanes to look out for. What are you thinking?
I was gonna say, top lane is always a fun little adventure to look at, but I think we're gonna see a lot more action probably in the mid, not in the mid lane, in the bot lane, as Jakimbo will do his own thing.
Nice electrocute there. I was gonna say lane to watch is actually, in my opinion, gonna be the bot lane. So reason why is because one, we have Jakimbo in the mid lane, so it's not gonna be very exciting. Maybe some trades here and there. Reason why is because for Huntsville, they really need this Jinx to get ahead, and I'm assuming that their game plan is revolving around this bot lane, especially when the Shen hits level 6, and they can, send 4 people bot, look for a dive, things like that. Where top lane, we are watching Dreadful, so there's always something exciting to be happening, but I think the exciting thing for him is just going to be picking up those plates when the Shen does eventually use that ultimate. See some trades going back and forth. The wall dropping a bit low here. Well, notice I did make the change on my account to show the champion names and not the summoner names.
I was gonna say, I didn't know if that was regulation or just personal preference.
Yeah, I made a lot of changes to my league account. Unfortunately, I don't know why, but I use my actual league account for like our streams, and I changed a bunch of settings, and I had to change a lot of them back, like the map size and.
Oh, that's a really.
Yeah, that's a rough trade though.
Just unlucky in terms of that. Unlucky in terms of that spacing.
So we do have bot power for the side of Huntsville, but we actually have Super Bear with a much quicker clear, so he's going to be able to get that bot scuttle, and Huntsville going to have to go up towards that top scuttle to stay even on CS, but we will potentially see a contest on this top scuttle. Bear does not have smite up, so we'll likely just walk over there and have to recall. Gotta be careful you get collapsed on here.
It does look like both junglers will just back after doing their full clears. Each one of them getting one scuttle, so not gonna be really any more or less ahead. But we are gonna see that the first dragon is going to be Infernal in 40 seconds.
So gotta remind us to make our guesses. Oh, nice stun there. We did have Dreadful getting an early back in, and it's actually still going to be even on CS after this wave is done. I think they call that a cheater back.
Cheater recall.
Yeah.
But I don't.
He's going to TP onto the wave here. Aggressive TP and top, so we will see a trade-off with that most likely. Or Shen will just stash away. But we do have big trade coming out here. Jinx using the traps, going to lock him in. But a nice double knock-up from Rakan. No junglers in the area. Shen does not have 6, but we do have Rakan getting stunned up. And this will be first blood over to Huntsville. With the flash. Oh, but the heal!
We're going to see the flash.
And another crazy flash from the Braum.
And
oh, this is so close!
We're seeing the communication from both sides.
Kills?
That is crazy on both sides there.
Yeah, very well played, especially from both supports there. The flash timings were really strong, as well as a perfectly timed heal there by the Rakan. Where did that heal come from? I don't know.
I think it was the heal had to be from the Braum, because it's the only one who...
Yeah. I heard the heal, but I saw the law somehow just like stay alive there.
I think
Um,
maybe with the exhaust. Oh, and that
yeah.
stun going to be pretty big. Not gonna get too much more damage. I do believe that Shen might be hitting 6 here
We do
first.
have both junglers going off the drag here. And with Huntsville having their bot lane back first, they actually are going to be able to take this dragon for free. Now, I really would have liked to see Valpo go for grubs for a couple reasons. One, because their bot didn't have prio. Neither does their top lane right now, but with having that Jax and that split pushing potential, I really would have liked us to see us prioritize those grubs. But anyways, Huntsville is going to pick up a dragon without any cross map happening there, and that out of this game so far, there hasn't been much to happen, but that is going to be the first little mini win for Huntsville.
Something to point out though, while that win is a fair one to give to Alabama, is that we're going to see that DDM is actually going to be up around 12 or so CS onto the Jinx, and normally we usually see it either pretty even or in sometimes a slight deficit. So to see this is just kind of going to be once again another testament to DDM and just how much he's been improving as a player kind of this whole season. It's something we bring up in a lot of these casts, but obviously for a good reason.
Yeah, their kind of cross map for Given Dragon was picking up that extra wave in the bot lane. So now he's actually going to be up 20 CS, which is quite a bit. We do have grubs go the way of Huntsville, so not ideal. But with the prio, Dreadful being low, having to give that over. So as far as feats counter, do have 2 objectives going over to Huntsville. Nothing too major yet, but Huntsville with the objective lead so far.
I see another slight scuffle come out. I do think that Valpo does have the level 6 advantage here, so if they're going to be able to get that, that is going to be big. And he's starting to be able to kind of control this wave a little bit more now with Tibbers. We are going to see the level 6 by the Misfortune. If as soon as Rakan hits 6, could be a lot of damage coming out from the side, but we are going to see that Alabama is going to have both people hit level 6 before the law hits level 6.
The only issue with the bot lane level 6 is like, yeah, those 2 ults are stronger, but the way they interact, like Braum ult can cancel MF ult or the shield can be big. But yeah, I mean, if you're able to get a nice charm knockup, you can get a lot of that damage off before any of that can happen. Surprised to see not much action from either jungler. Mordekaiser is up a bit in CS and objectives, but they haven't really shown up to lanes and been on the map too much this game. So that is probably benefit to the Mordekaiser because Mordekaiser can't really do much in the early game. While J4 does excel in those early game skirmishes, and we will see some ping Scott in the mid lane. Is not able to find the knockup, is able to get a wall, the electrocute off in a nice trade, and they are going to commit to it, but that is going to be ill-advised. Are able to trade it off though for 1 in the mid lane.
Slightly positive towards the side of Alabama just because that first blood gold does go to Annie. But again, you were able to get something out of it, so not necessarily as good, but obviously you're trying your best to get everything.
And Annie actually went Ignite this game. So going to miss a bit of this wave coming in. That is pretty notable to go Ignite in the mid lane. Sometimes you will see Shen pick up Ignite, but not typically in comp games just because it's so like high risk, high reward. Because if you like hold the bot lane and don't have TP up, you're gonna lose a lot of plates. But we do see Mordekaiser, a nice blast cone there by the law. He is gonna be trapped in 3 here. Does not have ult available yet. Oh wait, no, he does have ult.
They're gonna see the flash.
Does use it.
Oh. Jarvan going to be taking a lot of damage here. Going to escape. And Jinx Rocket's already used, so Jarvan does not have to worry about potentially dying there. Good play by the side of Valpo, punishing the Mordekaiser for getting a little bit too greedy.
As far as scaling go, which comp do you think scales the best here in this situation? Because it does seem to be like we are going that way.
I mean, I think Shen and Mord are really good. I would say I maybe a tiny bit towards Alabama, but I could see that If Jinx isn't able to get online, then it's not really going to matter because Alabama just is not going to have any damage.
I think top lane actually goes the way of Jax. More definitely out of scales. Annie and Nivea can be tricky just because Annie just has her ultimate. But Nivea does technically outscale. But we do see a nice charm knock up the Law playing around with Vision. And that ult is going to do some more damage. We'll see if they're able to finish this off. And Jakimbo with the stun and the E. Great positioning by the Law and Jakimbo there. And going to be able to find the pick on Jinx right before these objectives spawn. We do have Huntsville looking for the 6 grubs though. And it looks like Mordekaiser will pick that up uncontested. Valpo hopefully going to start the dragon here, but they may not know where this Mordekaiser is.
They might not. I think with Annie, I was to say with Annie moving up, I think that gave them good enough knowledge. Ocean Soul, quickly, what's your dragon choice?
Hextech.
I would say Infernal because the Chemtech was the first one taken. It actually was not said earlier.
On Hextech. Mountain. We're notoriously awful at guessing the Dragon Souls.
And you can't even say like that, you know, we're trying. I think we're like 0 for like 11.
Especially considering we have over a 50% chance every time we guess. But anyways, taking a look at the gold distribution here, we are going to have Valpo up about 500 gold. A lot of that is going to be in Jakimbo's pocket, having a 400 gold lead and a 150 gold shutdown. Going to be 2-0 and 1. First player to 100 CS as well. We also do have Diadem up 300 gold in the bot lane, and then Dreadful down 500 in the top, and then Super Bear down 200 in jungle, and then support slightly favored to Valpo. Yeah.
Overall good gold distribution. Alabama is gonna take at least one of those kills worth of gold, and kind of neutralize it with the CS there. But again, all these players we're at 4 players now that are above 100 CS. Mordekaiser, 113. Pretty strong, especially for a jungler. Annie at 110, Anivia at 111, and Diadem holding on to the most CS at 114. We are going to see a potential skirmish here. Rakan going to get some damage on the Braum. Not going to be able to do too much more, but it is going to start wearing him down a little bit.
Yep, and even Vector in the chat surprised about that Mordekaiser CS. Yeah, he's been farming, has not been on the map much, but I mean we see him counter jungling right now. Is going to pick up that red buff and take a couple grubs there. But this top prio is starting to feel heavy for Huntsville, especially with that 6 grubs. So we are going to have a fight or just another little skirmish in the bot lane here. Yeah, I mean, I am shocked. We have not seen Mordekaiser really on the map other than getting caught. But we do have a charm knockup. Going to return with the Braum ult. Going to have to flash out here. And a double flash with the Shen ult. And that is going to find a kill on Diadem there. Dreadful did get that wave shoved in. Not going to go for plates. And great coordination by Huntsville. They're going to have Mordekaiser up there to catch that wave and avoid any plates being taken for Valpo. Any potential of that. Now we kind of see the Shen level 6 online and the effect that that's going to have in the bot lane. So,
Nivea gonna get some damage onto that Annie. Does need to be careful as Tibbers is available along with that flash. So you could just see the flash ult stun into the WQ combo there at the very end, and then almost be ready for another stun. So just Jakimbo needing to play careful here, as the potential for him to go from full to none is kind of scary. Sometimes Annie sometimes we're almost more like an feeling more assassin-y than maybe magey.
Yeah, almost like an assassin without the mobility. Anyway, I mean, Valpo with a great engage in the bot lane, but the Shen ult, I mean, it's pretty frustrating. I mean, that's the whole reason why you picked the Shen. Now he is back in his home in the top lane. Some trades going back and forth. And we do have this dragon spawning in a minute 20. Will probably be a bit more heavily contested. Do have Rift Herald in 35 as well. Some trades happening in the top lane, but an engage on bot lane. We're gonna have the wall going, and Jarvan able to find 2 with that. And Channel is going to be on cooldown right now. Not a whole lot of damage. We do have that knock up Diadem picking up the kill on Jinx. We do have Mordekaiser ulting Super Bear right now, and he is able to finish that one off.
3v2 here.
Oh, and Annie flashing in with the stun, and that's gonna find a kill on Diadem. So overall, a 2 for 2.
Valpo having a good thing there, but I think the thing is Diadem overextending that a little bit and not respecting that Annie flash engage of how much damage that she's going to be able to do. Because exactly what I was saying earlier, if that would happen to Jakimbo, happened to Diadem. But overall, again, somewhat of a, I believe a positive. I don't think there were any bounties that went over for either side.
Yeah, I do think, you know, out of all the champions in the entire game, keeping track of Annie's flash is like the most important flash to keep track of. Just because like that is her entire kit. Like she just flash ults your entire team and that's it. So we'll have that flash on cooldown for the next couple objectives here. So that's big. But like I said, I mean, Assassin without the mobility, but when she does have flash, just becomes so much scarier. We do have Huntsville starting up the drag here, and it looks like Valpo's actually going to contest here. They do have most of their ults available, just not the J4 or Rakan ult. Do get walled in here, and a great steal from Super Bear. And we do have the MF ult over the top. Is going to fall for it, but a wonderful steal. Shen does TP in, but Valpo's able to disengage. A great play by Super Bear there.
Losing your jungler for the dragon is huge. Is
every day of the week.
That's a and a slight catch, but Shen able to dodge out of that. This mid tier one looked like it was going to take some damage, but Diadem is going to be able to make sure that not a lot of damage is going to happen. I don't believe that Jinx might have just finished her Yanti's stacking.
Ooh, we actually have Braum coming in. Could have a Shen ult if he wants to engage there, but just gonna pick up the turret and walk out here. And we do have Valpo with that first turret claiming the feats, going to have the feat of warfare and the feat of taking the first turret. Got to figure out that name one day. Probably not going to be a huge impact though, other than the boost of swiftness. We typically see that feat picked up, but for the most part, feats have more over the past couple weeks have just become kind of a similar to like an elixir type. Like when you're full build, you just build the feat, but you don't actually typically see. It doesn't have the best gold value.
It's a nice to have, not a gotta have. Just
Absolutely.
unlike how it was earlier. And I do actually believe, I think it is the feat of objective. Because I think it's the feat of monster slain that is technically what it's called when you get the first 3 objectives.
Oh, that's weird.
We will get back to you in the second game. We'll do some quick research to figure out what the names of all 3 of these are.
We do have Rift Herald, and having that 6 grubs in the Rift Herald can be dangerous. So see if they just decide to pop it mid, get that mid tier 1. But we do have Dreadful going for a bit of a trade here. Do have Braum in the area, and nicely going to back off.
Oh, and Jakimbo going to catch that Nibby Allen doing a lot of damage. We are going to see that Timbers be used more defensively there. And with Annie's flash still about, I would say, a minute or so off cooldown, just need to be careful continuing to respect the fact that right now she has it down, and trying to see if we're going to punish. And we are going to see the flash come out by Diadem.
Yeah, I would have liked to see him sit on that maybe a bit, but sometimes you just don't know. Appreciate the follow. As always, I am Royals. But tied up 5-5 here in kills. Valpo with a very, very slight gold advantage by about 100 gold. Up to 1 in dragons, and then 6 grubs. So, I mean, this is a dead even game.
Which is good. It's good to see, as both teams, again, feels like it fully is you've earned your spot in these. You've earned your spot in these games. It's something to point out though is where the big CS difference is lying is between the jungle. Mordekaiser beat up 50 CS over Jarvan. However, we're going to see that Diadem is up 30 CS over Jinx. And something to note is Anivia is known for her ability to just kind of put down your ultimate and just get the wave and walk away. But Annie's keeping up relatively consistently, only being down 10 CS.
Yeah, we did have Jakimbo hovering bot side by that drag pit 2 or 3 times in this game. And then Shen keeping up pretty darn well considering how much presence he's had on the map. But the Mordekaiser are doing a really great job of not only just full clearing over and over again, but also getting some counter jungling in. But Dreadful, with all this CS, is starting to become a threat in the top lane, as he is about at an item and a half and should pick up another item or full tier.
We're gonna see the Merc Treads be purchased, and Caulfield's is still there. So not gonna be able to get as much. Feels like 163 CS is worth more than that, but again, for being 163 up, Mordekaiser hitting the 200 CS mark, and Anivia being right behind.
10 CS a minute for a jungler, arguably bad, because that typically means you're not having much map presence, but for the pace of this game, that's actually just going to be really good for Huntsville. And Mordekaiser is the type of champion that when it's 20-30 minutes in the game, sometimes your KDA really doesn't matter. He's just going to 1v1 you anyways.
Especially if he's able to just jump on top of you and then bring you to his death drum, where you just get all of his stats. Yeah. Oh, we are going to see the catch out of Braum here. Valpo going to try to find something, but Braum's dash is going to be able to get him. Is going to be able to keep him there. We are going to see the slight trigger from Otacon, trying to help use Otacon as a zoning tool. It does look like to be partially successful. Valpo does need to be careful with Annie being in the corner. Does have flash, so could look for another good pick onto Diadem.
Shen trading really well here. And the issue with Dreadful trading a lot here is the Shen keeps getting these hard steel stacks. But we will have Dreadful recall here and is going to have TP available, so it needs to be back at full health, spend all his gold. Because we have 2 objectives here in the bot side, so we're going to see the Shen ult and Jax TP pretty soon here, or maybe just walk down. We do have the engage coming out before getting the knockup. Not going to commit with the ult just quite yet. We do have Annie flashing over with the ult. Is going to find the wall, get him pretty low. Not going to find the kill yet. We do have Jax spawning the shutdown there. Annie trading back onto their comm. We have Jinx firing away, able to kite it out. Nice J4 ult, able to pick up the Braum. And it looks like Anivia in passive now is going to fall to Jinx. Jinx going to get excited here, and this fight is going to Huntsville here as Jinx able to pick up the double kill. And Jax not able to pick up another there, and a triple kill to the way of Jinx. Jinx was able to fire away there and have the peel necessary in that fight. Valpo was not able to get on the back line there, and that's why Huntsville won that team fight, going to pick up the Dragon and potentially Otacon.
And yeah, I was gonna, as you kind of commented that very nicely, Valpo had the opportunity, but I think just needing the peel away once Jakimbo was in egg form, just kind of almost accepting the fate that he was going to die, even throughout passive, and just being able to kind of go off that and just...
Have a potential for maybe a contest / steal, but going to be taken over in Valpo. Looks like they're going to force this here.
Trying to see if they can grab any sort of benefit, and it does look like... Oh, we are going to see the flash does come out. We are going to see Anivia trying to find something, but that is going to just back them off a little bit. Valpo does look like will hopefully look to try to at least trade by getting this tower.
Did invest a good bit into that play there. I mean, I think honestly just frustrated from losing that fight there, and maybe pick up a turret and a kill onto the Sandy. We'll see. But I really liked Annie's play there. They realized how important the engage onto their backline was, and they actually targeted the wall. They didn't target, the main damage healer. They targeted the engage, the squissier engage of this team. So the wall got a brunt of that Annie combo. And Super Bear wasn't able to get his knockup or ult onto the Jinx or any other target other than the Braum for that matter. So I mean, just a unfortunate situation for Valpo. And we were talking about it in draft. It really comes down to the execution in this team fights where Valpo gets the true potential, their full potential from this team comp. They were not able to do it there, so they are going to be on the back foot now. But still, very close game and winnable situation.
Yeah, Valpo just being slightly under 2,000 gold here. That extra gold is going to catch up Jinx into being two items, two full items along with a main component. Technically slightly higher than Misfortune. So Valpo is going to need to start fully now respecting that Jinx even
Yeah.
more so after that triple.
I mean, the great thing is, I think the key in this team fight for Valpo is you get on the Jinx. The issue is there's just so much feel. Whether it's going, we do see the Jinx getting picked out here, but so much shield from the Channel. But the interaction we just saw, we are getting into a more real team fight here. We are going to have Jakimbo die in the middle of the fight, get some damage off, and Valpo just going to have to disengage. We do have Mordekaiser on the flank a little bit here, just taking the Raptors. But that interaction we just saw was what I was going to talk about. Is all you really need to kill is the Jinx, but it's so difficult between the Shen ult, Mordekaiser ulting you off, the Braum with the stun or the Annie stun. There's just so much peel that really this Jinx can just kind of sit there and auto. Even though Valpo has a lot of engage, is it going to be enough to get through all this peel? And all that effort and time that you spend getting on the Jinx, is it already going to be too late where she gets a majority of her damage off? But that's really going to be the key to this game. It's going to be, can Valpo get on the Jinx, and can Huntsville just have the Jinx be able to kite away and peel the Jinx? You don't really see, the game being revolved around the ADC in the year 2025, probably since like, I don't know, like 2010. But this game, in my opinion, definitely is.
Game's going to continue to stay close here as we are, as Alabama is going to increase their gold lead to just around 3,300. Taking that bottom tier winter, going to open up the map a little bit. Valpo does need to start being careful for this Shen here, as Shen is just going to start building up kind of an obscene amount of health, and all that extra health is going to give him extra shields for whenever he does ult somebody.
Yeah, I mean, he is on phenomenal pace with this harsh seal right now. Oh, and the Jinx ult gonna come out of nowhere. That's one thing we've been seeing about these higher ranked Jinxes is they have really good ults. But that one able to find the target and gonna pick up the kill on Dreadful. But yeah, Shen is starting to become quite a damage dealer, especially for building full tank.
Well, we are going to see that Annie is going to have to burn a flash defensively against Jakimbo there.
Very important cooldown.
Valpo need to make sure that that's communicated to the rest of the team.
We have Super Bear, could look for something here. Gonna find the knock-up on 2. Not gonna ult just yet, and wow, that Mordekaiser's doing a lot of damage. The engage from the Law, able to find the MF ult over the top, but there is just, the Mordekaiser shield was huge.
He's not even building a Spirit Visage yet.
Yeah, it's the W shield. He just has so much AP. And University of Alabama in Huntsville? At Huntsville? I forget. Apologies. In Huntsville, going to turn their attention to this third dragon soul point here on the Mountain Soul, and should pick it up without issue here. But I mean, well, what do you think the win con is for Valpo? Because I'll keep it a buck. I don't see it.
I was gonna say, I was like, what you were saying about getting because now the problem is Mordekaiser's building just full AP. So he's squishier, but even then, we kind of saw it between that shield just gonna be really tanky. I want to say I think what we were talking earlier about maybe seeing that it's going to be that it's gonna have to be trying to get either Shen or get basically Shen and or Jinx into basically have Shen come into an ult Jinx in a way that's gonna make it into like a 2v4. And I think that might be the only way that we're going to see that Valpo is going to be able to take these fights. They're not going to be able to take any fights, I don't think, fully head-to-head.
We have these two big frontliners coming over, and Nivea is able to flash out of the Mordekaiser ult, and Valpo able to find the disengage in a great wall, but Braum is just able to hop over. Yeah, man, I think it's going to be Huntsville having to make mistakes and Valpo being able to find the picks off them. They do have some pick potential. With the J4, with the Rakan, with that Anivia wall. But Huntsville, so far has played this game pretty flawlessly.
I was gonna say something that I think has been kind of annoying is normally like when you have the wall, you just realize that like you're kind of stuck in it. You see the Braum, you see the Shed, they both have dashes that can get you over that wall, and so that wall losing a lot of its value, especially because if you're able to catch that Braum out, it's a lot harder for your team to start being able to make plays.
Yeah, and I think too. I mean, they're going to be the only people positioned far enough up for that wall to work on, which I guess is why the need for Huntsville to make mistakes for Valpo to come back into the game. But I am shocked that at this stage of the game, the Shen is still able to outtrade the Jacks. Um, no, maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe Shen does scale better, but I mean, Jax when he hits those 3 items eventually will be a threat in the side lane. I think so. I'm pretty darn sure.
Well, we are gonna see that Jax is gonna go Seeker's arm guard here, going for a Zanya's,
That is going to
which
be some nice damage there. A little more AP for the side of Valpo.
here
Oh, and
it's
we see a ton of pings around Baron. Valpo shows 2 in the bot lane. Huntsville turning their attention to the Baron. We do have Dreadful looking for this Shen, and he might be able to find the kill here. Just waiting on this blast cone.
Ooh, and Jarvan going to take a lot of damage here from that Annie combo. Going to kind of make sure that he can't steal this. Oh, we are going to see that Misfortune attempting to try to steal. Not going to be fully
Kind of
able.
close, actually. Oh, and the Jinx ult so big. Shen able to flash out of that Anivia wall.
Oh, we are going to see. We are going
Dreadful
to.
picking up the shutdown.
Oh, but that stun going to be reavailable. Valpo, Nivea having to play this extremely carefully, kind of caught between a rock and a hard place here. And is going to follow that passive, going to buy maybe a few extra seconds, but a lot of damage going to head towards the side of Valpo here, and with a 9k gold lead, and there is a super minion, but Diadem and the Law kind of being the sole defenders for the next 13 seconds. Alabama could be looking to maybe make the end of this game here.
Yeah, I mean, Huntsville could very easily end the game here with some longer death timers. We are going to have Super Bear up with ultimate. Unfortunately, Misfortune will not have ultimate, so it's going to be tough to get the damage. But we will have Super Bear looking for the engage. Knockup not able to find anyone. Is able to charm and get the ult onto. Unfortunately, Mordekaiser does take down the Rakan, and Jinx is going to get excited, and wow, that is a lot of damage. She is just spitting those rockets out over and over. We do have Dreadful coming in, but it's going to be too little too late. And University of Alabama in Huntsville is going to take game 1 in this best of 3 series. I mean, what are you looking back at that game? What do you think Valpo needs to do differently, in the draft, in the game to come out, with a different result in game 2?
I think individually Shen being the biggest overall problem for the side of Valpo. The main reason is because we were seeing some times where Diadem and Jakimbo were able to catch out the laners, and Shen just being able to say no. No, actually, you're not killing my teammate. Being a really big disruptor, and kind of because of that, even being able to have good enough communication that Mordecai was able to take back the top lane, Dreadful wasn't able to get as much top lane turret damage as he might have otherwise wanted to see.
And do you think Valpo will take the blue side or the red side heading into this next game?
I think leaving either the top or the mid as a counter pick. I think that's too valuable for Valpo. I think we're gonna see them red side. But what do you think?
I think they should go red side. I think they're gonna pick blue side because they picked blue side, so just like a mental game thing. I don't know. But yeah, we will see it right after this break, and we'll be back with game 2 draft. And we are back with game 2 of the NECC Division 3 National Quarterfinals of Valpo League of Legends versus the University of Alabama in Huntsville. Valpo going to be opting to take blue side this time around. We do see the Cassidy, Mordekaiser, and Jinx band, and they're going to first pick that Gwen. You know, that's what we were talking about a little bit in the first draft we saw. And then University of Alabama going to ban out the Syndra, Gwen, Aurora, and Talia.
Gonna see overall, really, I really like this Gwen pick here because this also means that if we're gonna see Shen, that we're gonna have a lot of that true damage. Just kind of making not doesn't matter how much health you have, that percent max health true damage is going to be able to absolutely melt through that health we're gonna see. And we're gonna see that Alabama is going to show that misfortune there, really liking what D&M was putting down and gonna take it as one of their own.
Yeah, and Gwen going to have more of that guaranteed oomph in the late game for sure when they hit 16 3 items. Pretty much automatically just going to have the threat of wiping the team. But yeah, oh, and picking up that Braum as well to go with it. Braum and MF pairing very well together. Valpo, I think I just want to see a change in the mid lane. Champion and then kind of also play style a little bit too. Jikimbo kind of go back to the roots a little bit, something that has some more damage, has some carry potential. And we'll see what we decide to pick up in the jungle. We could see a Nefiri. I would not be shocked.
Mad
Ziggs.
scientist.
Ziggs, I'm expecting go in the bot lane. And you know what that's going to leave open? Room for a lot of attack damage, and that is likely going to have to be picked up in the mid lane or the jungle with Nefiri. Pretty much has to be an AD jungler and or mid laner here. I mean, I guess theoretically if that Ziggs goes mid, but it's gonna go bot. Like it, it probably has to, right?
I think it has to. Also, we could see a Corgi. A
Oh yeah,
Corgi.
yeah, yeah. We could see the Corgi.
That would be big. We are going to see the Rel pick though, which is going a little. I don't know. I feel a little interested with that pick between with Ziggs.
Um, yeah, those two don't pair well together at all, like whatsoever. But the law is really good on Rel, in my opinion, and really good on engaged champions. So even though Ziggs does a bit better with those enchanters, with those more supporty supports, I think the Rail having that like guaranteed engage in team fights is really strong for Valpo.
And we are going to see the Lilia pickup by Alabama in Huntsville. They're going to be a relatively scary champion just because I know that I believe Lilia shuts down Jarvan pretty well, at least from my understanding.
And likely going to see a Yorick ban for this B5 ban, and then not really sure what we're going to see for Huntsville. I'll
Tradition.
guess maybe Nefiri. Gonna be Vel'Koz. So Jakimbo has a lot of success with Vel'Koz in ranked. Don't see it too often in comp play. Um, but yeah, going to have the Vel'Koz ban out and actually going to be banning the Camille, so going to be leaving that Yorick open. Gwen does very well into Yorick now. I'm thinking about it though, so I leave it open intentionally.
Also, something to point out, we don't always get the privilege to talk about it, but we're gonna see that it's a pentaban towards Jakimbo there.
Oh
Talia,
yeah,
Aurora, Syndra, Corgi, and Vel'Koz.
yeah, good point there. That Jax is likely going to be going in the top lane now. Their jungler does play quite a bit of Jax, but
Lilia top, I think
Lilia
is
top is not ideal,
that's been gone since at least like season 12.
especially against Gwen. It's got to be pretty bad.
Oh yeah, I mean, but yeah, hey, I mean, Lilia has very few auto attacks, so you get through the hollowed mist. But we're gonna see the final pick here. We're gonna see the final picks come out from Valpo. Gangplank.
GP, wow. So that Gwen is going to be going jungle. Gangplank definitely going to provide that attack damage that Valpo needs. And going into Jax, I mean that's a pretty good pick. Like I said, you know, Jax, whether it's a good matchup or bad matchup, is going to be revolved around that E. And if you're a auto attack based champion in Gangplank, a lot of his damage coming from those barrels, and his little
Pistol.
pistol. Yeah, and then the Fury, Kimbo on the Fury. So Valpo, I mean, this is a lot different champ selects than we saw, even a couple weeks ago. So, um, yeah, I mean, Super Bear definitely got a deeper bag now that we are in the national season, picking up that Gwen. And then Dreadful has always kind of had this gangplank. We've just never really seen it in comp play. And then Nefiri, Jakimbo having quite a bit of Nefiri experience, but pulling it out in a comp game. When you're on match point and then the Malzahar, that is going to be very frustrating to deal with.
Yeah, I was gonna say as soon as the Fury's dogs get afflicted by the prophetic visions, that's gonna be a little annoying. But
This is another mid laner that just like presses the R key and automatically gets value. Except for Gangplank. So Gangplank does have his cleanse, his oranges. What is that ability called?
I don't know.
Or
That
his
just
W,
yeah, his yeah,
where he eats his oranges and cleanses all effects.
which is crazy. The joke was always that you would see it going into like the Mordekaiser role. You're gonna get brought into the realm of death, and you just eat an orange, and
Like,
the
never
orange,
mind.
it's an orange a day keeps the doctor away instead of just an apple a day. But yeah, this is a very, very interesting pick here. Again, we're gonna see some comfort picks, but we're also gonna see some that we haven't seen. I don't think at all this season. Gangplank and the Fury, I think both being new ones for us to see at least this year for Valpo playing.
Yeah, speaking of getting that stat book going, if we could get like a presence slash pick slash ban rate of some of these champions, it'd be interesting because that Syndra is and Talia are close to 100%
Pick ban.
presence. Yeah, pick ban. I mean, actually, I think they probably got to be. The Syndra definitely.
Talia, I think maybe can
Yeah.
escape like the first game
This
if
is
it's
a
not picked.
first pick Gangplank and a first pick Nefiri for Valpo and a first pick Gwen Jungle. So a lot of picks for Valpo, but nothing that they haven't, been prepared for. This isn't coming out of left field. This is stuff they've been, prepping, scrimming, getting ready for. Sorry, my co-commentator was distracting me. But anyways, we are going to head to a short break for the spectator delay and be right back with Game 2 of the NECC National Quarterfinals, University of Alabama in Huntsville versus Valpo. And welcome back to Game 2 of the NECC Division 3 National Quarterfinals. Valpo League of Legends taking on the University of Alabama in Huntsville. Valpo dropping Game 1, but going to be back with vengeance in Game 2. And something of note, the Gwen is actually going mid now. Pretty shocking, but the more you think about it, the more it actually makes sense. Malzahar is a really, really good matchup into Nefiri, so, being able to take out the dogs immediately. And then Gwen not really caring where she lanes as long as she gets to late game. And it's just like, you know what? I don't care.
Yeah, I'll be fine. And Super Bear on that Nefiri, going to be interesting. Don't think we haven't because of the kind of adjustment that Nefiri got. Mainly, Nefiri's W, it used to dash to an enemy champion, and the ultimate used to summon additional dogs and give some movement speed. It's actually now the reverse, or it's now the two abilities were mainly swapped. So the W now summons an extra dog, and the ultimate is a dash.
Do have pretty traditional stuff, summoner wise, rune wise, for both teams. Going to have the TP from Ziggs of note, the exhaust from the Braum, which I'm actually pretty surprised to see the exhaust, but it's probably just going to be for that late game Nefiri Gwen. But yeah, going to be started with this game. What do you think the lane to watch is going to be here?
I'm going to say top lane. I think that's the big one to watch.
I'm also thinking top lane. Gwen, just with the tip of her scissor, is able to get that spell shield off, so that's going to be a nice early little trade. Doran's across the board, no Cole from the Gangplank. I'm a big Cole fan, but Dreadful is not whatsoever. I just noticed their top lane summoner name is Tilted Top Laner. That's great. Level 2 advantage going to go to Huntsville here. So they're going to get the push advantage. Both junglers so far opting for a full clear, but going to be Valpo going to be starting on the bot side. Huntsville going to be starting in the top side. And Super just with the slightest bit of tempo there.
We're gonna see that pistol shot. Gonna start catching Jax. Ooh, that barrel gonna be a lot of damage. Ooh, Jax. Jameplake actually needing to be the one that's being careful, as that is a big wave that is pushing into him. Gonna maybe lose a little bit of that CS.
Yep, Jack's gonna have to recall here, but will have TP. Oh, he's actually gonna stay. He does have a nice deep ward there, so probably not too worried of the gank because that Nefiri is gonna be spotted out in plenty of time.
And we see that Dreadful doesn't have Ignite, so a solo bolo this early is going to be a little bit harder for him to pull off successfully. Those Prophetic Visions is going to start chipping away at Gwen a little bit. Jakimbo just seemed to be able to respect that damage, especially because it's a lot of consistent poke.
We have both junglers finishing up on their full clear and will be heading for their scuttles. We have Nefiri spotting out that ward and is just going to take the top scuttle while Huntsville is going to take the bottom scuttle, and both junglers will likely recall or maybe look mid. We'll see.
Let's say we see that all summoner spells are available. No one gaining anything crazy enough. We're going to see that Lilia is going to look for something, not going to be able to find it. Ziggs with the W, going to be able to keep him out of any worry of out of that Lilia.
We have some bigger trades going back in the top lane. Both champs are going to be a bit low here. I'm pretty fired up to see this Jakimbo Gwen, especially when it becomes mid to late game here.
And something to point out is that Dreadful was able to kind of be a little bit more aggressive in top because he knew that Lilia was bot side. Seeing Diadem and the law being able to communicate that out to him, just for him to make sure that he's playing safe and not going to surprisingly get caught on. We are going to see the TP though come out by Jax.
Gonna get barreled for it. But he is quite low, gonna get stunned up here.
That orange.
Able to save him there.
Eat your vegetables,
yeah,
viewers.
I thought he was dead until I forgot he had to cleanse and heal.
If there's a giant club swinging at you, if you eat an orange, you will take very little damage. Please do not try this at home.
We do have first objective spawning now. Dragon going to be up as well as Grubs in 45 seconds. An aggressive TP going to have the orange. Ooh,
Ooh,
just able to get that recall through.
I love that feeling, but also hate that feeling of like watching is like because that you actually have a quarter second of the last quarter second of your recall, I believe, you still have invulnerability on.
Actually surprised Jakimbo decided to use the TP as he was a bit of a way back in the lane. We are going to have Rel in the mid lane though. Leah is going to be in the area for a potential counter gank. Ram also rotating down there. These Grubs are going to be up in 5 seconds, and Huntsville going to have 4 members as well as Valpo going to have 4 members. So we
Ooh.
could see quite a bit of a fight break out here.
We're gonna see a little bit of damage being chopped onto Lilia. Oh, dog gonna be able to block
Yep.
block that engage here.
Huntsville does have first rotate from topside. We'll see if Dreadful can get this wave shoved in or come down.
Might be
Going over.
probably gonna look for Dreadful ult.
2-man knock up here. We do have Gwen getting exhausted and also going to get Malzahar ulted. But first blood going to go over to Valpo and the Law. Gwen able to get the R2. R3 goes out, and another kill going over to Dreadful, and they are able to pick up 1 grub as well there. So going to be a big net win for Valpo, going to be up 1.5k gold now.
Yes, and also preventing Alabama from getting progress on that feat of monster slain. Took a quick look at the wiki while this in between the first and second games, and it's the feat of warfare for the first team to get 3 kills. The feat of monster slain for those who are able to get the first 3 objectives. And
Super Bear going for an aggressive counter jungle here. Malzahar will have first move, will not have his ult available, is going to get drowsied, and is just able to hop over in time, but with that flash is going to go down.
And we do see that Malzahar did also flash Lilia flash and ultimated. Superbear did not ult. I do believe he was level 6 in that fight, but there's no reason to ult as you needed kind of an enemy to engage on.
Valpo going to be up 700 gold still, and that dragon is still going to be available. So first dragon going to be an ocean. Our objective tracker is lying to us right now.
I was gonna say that's I at least feel a little bit better knowing that I called that it was gonna be that type of dragon and then it wasn't. Oh, and we're gonna see Rel not gonna be able to fully hit on that slow. We're gonna see that the prophetic vision's just a second away from being catastrophic for Valpo as
Kimbo still has ult here. It's kind of surprised you didn't let it rip there, but going to have it. Also going to have mid prow for Dragon. Malzahar is going to have ult available now. Valpo starting up the Dragon. We have 4 members here for both sides. All the ults are going to be available except for that Lilia ult. And the Malzahar flash. Dragon is quite low. Still starting to back off as Ziggs going to deter him just enough. Valpo able to pick up the dragon.
Oh, and just nearly missing that barrel there. Going to be taking a decent bit of damage from this engage here. Actually going to win that trade with that as Jax was backing off. Braum missing that, and we're gonna see that Ziggs is they're gonna see that the 86 are level 7. The Law with his kind of additional roaming is not gonna hit level 6 quite yet. Just needing to respect that misfortune. Take a little bit of extra damage from that Ziggs. But overall, good. I feel like a lot better of a start for this game than was game 1.
Absolutely, especially considering the champs that were playing in this game too. We just picked all the OB champions and just threw them like wherever. We do have Lilia stealing that blue buff. EP ult is going to go off. Not going to be able to find much, and Lilia just able to prance her way out of there.
Good on the side of Valpo, just again kind of playing it safe. Super Bear once again gonna already start feeling those effects of getting counter jungled. Definitely was something, a relatively big thing that he had to deal with in game one. Try his best not to hopefully deal with it as much in game two. Zig's taking a lot of damage from that misfortune Q, but Braum Q not going to be able to find him and just be able to do some more damage. Oh, and we see that Neferi is topside, going to look for a gank here. Jax is overextended, no flash. Neferi burning ultimate here. And going to get that kill, which is the feat of warfare to the side of Valpo.
Yeah, much better start to this game for Valpo, and I think a big difference is just how the top lane is going for Valpo. Dreadful now having shutdown gold, and it's just having a lot of really efficient trades. We do have Drowsy coming out for Lilia and an engage on Gwen. And the directed game doesn't know where to go because we have so much action going on. When R3 is going to try and wipe out most of that wave, Malzahar did use ult in that exchange there. So Gwen pretty safe to pick up the rest of the wave here, especially with the law in the area. And Valpo will pick up the rest of the grubs here. So no one actually got the full grubs either time, but we are going to end up at 3-3 in total.
Which is good. It's good to see both teams going to fight for that, which is going to mean that we are going to have Mountain Dragon up next. So as we kind of have a quick lull in the action, what dragon are we going to see? Ocean. All right, never mind. We already had Ocean. You said Hextech. I'll say Chem.
Oh, and we do have a flank here. Going to have Braum and Lilia in the area. Ziggs is able to jump out, but is going to get stunned up. Ziggs is going to die. Does throw the ult out before he does so. Lilia not having ult available here, and it looks like the Law will be able to get out scot-free. Oh, maybe not actually. Is able to stun the Lilia and going to find a kill. So is able to trade a 1-for-1 there. But Huntsville definitely going to win that trade with the 2-for-1 and get some plates to tack on.
Really good play by the side of the Law. They're trying his best to stay alive as long as he could. Kind of knew that Diadem was not going to be able to get out of that, and just had to kind of survive himself. But going to be able to pick up a kill himself, which is nothing to scoff at, especially in a kind of a 3v1 where it didn't look like anyone was low enough specifically before he popped his ultimate.
Yeah, and Valpo just had no vision there in the bot side river, so just poor positioning there. They're trying to get some plates, some damage on that turret, especially considering feeds will likely go the way of the team who gets the first turret, just based off, there's only been one objective taken so far. But anyways, nice play there for Huntsville, going to even this one up just a bit. Valpo have their eyes set on this next dragon as they are starting to clear some wards there in the bot side river, get some vision down.
Ziggs, I think Diadem trying to look for a satchel explode here, because that would be really big. They need to respect their spacing here.
Be a self knock away would have been better. Is going to have flash, but still going to get stunned up, and the Braum ult going to come through. That'll do it. Ziggs is going to go down.
Again, I think Valpo needs to stem their bleeding here. They're doing just fine, but you've now gotten caught twice doing kind of the exact same thing. You need to respect that the teams you're playing against are going to know what you're trying to do sometimes.
Yeah, just greedy for the blades a little bit. I would be too. We do have the dragon spawn now. Mine is a bit low here. Malzahar having ult available, so got to watch out for that. But both teams looking for this drag. We do have Super Bear jumping over here. It's just going to have to jump out, and Valpo going to have to give this objective with the bottom mid prow over to Huntsville. We are going to have a Cloud Soul, both wrong once again. And we are bad.
Valpo fans, we can't make this up. We actually can't make this up.
Yeah, I mean, Valpo here going to have to give us another game to give us another chance here. Dreadful started to do some damage with those barrels. Saw the aggressive TP. Oh, it's going to flash away. Oh, just able to live there.
We are going to see the... Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying first turret.
Oh yeah, I mean, I was about to say the same thing.
Yep.
First turret, which does mean that this is now riding on. This is now riding on the first team to get 3 objectives. Ooh, big
Oh,
damage gonna come
nice
off here.
engage. He's going to
Gonna
get exhaust on the Ziggs. Is able to finish it off with the Ziggs ult and find the shutdown. Brahmo is going to knock him out. Should be able to disengage, but actually a really nice re-engage by the Rel. That's going to be a double kill for Diadem.
and
Super Bear able to pick up a kill as well.
Super need to be careful. Oh, needs to be careful here. Actually, could look to turn this into a reverse engage, but not going to. I'm gonna see that
OP.
the Fury OP. Then we're gonna see that satchel from Diadem is finally going to find that bottom turret that's been giving them a little bit of trouble so far. That's gonna swing the scales back into the side of Valpo.
Yeah, and we'll see if where they decide to send the Ziggs, if they go top to finish off that turret or mid.
To start working on that turret. It's
We'll
just hard
likely
as
see,
Gwen to be able to do a lot of damage to that turret.
yeah, we'll likely see Gwen go down to this bot lane, match this Malzahar. We do have Valpo's bot support coming mid here. Oh, and with the Demolish Brock, is going to be able to get the turret in a big wave here.
Jack's ult is going to be available relatively soon here. A lot of damage is going to start going on to Braum. Neferi just needs to slow down a tiny bit. But this is good preparation for them to start setting up for Rift. Would like to see that final flower be grabbed in the Rift pit. Just giving those extra stats to Valpo. Going to be very big here.
What's crazy is we will still have 2 more objectives until we see who will claim defeats, which is super late for this game. We do have the Malzahar ult going through. Redful, Jakimbo rather, able to trade the kill and get a 1-for-1. I'm just so used to seeing Gwen being a top laner. But Malzahar was able to pick up a shutdown on Gwen actually. Just really great CS and being 1-0 and 2. So I'm going to trade that kill back and forth.
So yeah, going to be a slight positive on the side. Going to be a slight positive on the side of Valpo, or on the side of Alabama. My apologies.
Yeah, a little more gold to Alabama, but arguably even because you know, the gold value on Gwen I think is just more than Malzahar.
Especially because it wasn't a huge shutdown. I think it was like 140.
Anyways, we're out of sync today.
We are out of sync. We're a little tired. At least I'm a little tired in the booth. We're going to see that Super Bear is going to be able to grab that Rift Herald, going to make progress towards that feat of Monster Slaying, which does mean that Otacon could be the first opportunity for Valpo to claim this feat. We are going to see some action here come in.
His Fortune finding the ult over top with the Brahmo, but a really nice ult by the Law. Going to get 3 members super low. Lily ult comes out. Ooh, and GP ult able to help finish that one off with the Ignite. Just going to be a 1-for-1, but a lot of action. Valpo does have the health advantage here and is going to turn their attention to this mid lane turret. With the Demolish, just might be able to get it. Will have the Rift Herald pop though, and this is definitely going to finish off the turret here. We do have Dragon spawning, but not for a minute here. Valpo looking to get this second charge now. Does have a big health advantage. Do have that Malzahar art still available for the side of Huntsville. Oh, and that Gwenar not going to be able to find it. The Malzahar ult actually going to finish it off. I did like that idea by Jakimbo, but unfortunately does get punished for it. And that's tier 2 mid tower super low there, but a net win for Valpo.
We're going to see that Valpo is going to reset. This does mean that I do believe that Alabama is going to have priority here for kind of continuing to set up as Valpo has to hit the resets. Jakimbo does have to respawn from death timers.
Yep.
But yeah, I liked his Jakimbo play. I really would have liked to see, because he ulted with just his singular needle. So I would have liked to see like ulting a tiny bit beforehand to do that first one, and then being able to ult again when you had more needles to do more damage. Because that was
you know it's coming.
You know it's coming, but it's that one needle just it slows, but it doesn't do anything.
We do have Valpo actually looking to contest here. Won't have many ults available after that last exchange. A big steal once again from Super Bear, second of the series. And fight going out now. The Law in deep. On some stuns and CC, but Valpo just trying to disengage now. The Law will go down. But Huntsville is chasing a flash ult by Braum. Is going to get the stack on in the Fury. He's going to find the proc, and Fury will go down as well. Lilia picking up that kill. GP just avoiding that Lilia slow. Lilia does have ult available here. It will be popped, and the exhaust does have the W, and oh my goodness, going to W flash. That was such a weird animation. And now Diadem all alone here under this tier 1 turret, and is going to go down to the misfortune for the double kill. Is going to be able to trade that kill back on Jax, and Valpo luckily picking up some kills here as they are able to find Braum as well. So 3 for 2. Or no, 4 for 2 because the wall died too, and the dragon to Valpo. So even-ish, slightly towards Huntsville. Probably a win for Huntsville, but Valpo was able to secure the drag, and you know that if Huntsville gets the drag, that is a massive, massive win for Huntsville. But Super Bear with this clutch smites, so.
And also, I would say I think normally it would be I think it broke out to now being fully even. Just with, again, feats aren't worth as much, but we are going to see that feats are going to be towards the side of Valpo here for the second game. So just kind of giving because that was the third full objective that was able to be grabbed.
Yeah.
I think that makes it that's slightly positive.
Right. I'll take it.
Or at least bringing it from a slight positive to Alabama to a neutral for both teams.
I think the only boots that are like super the only boots that are like actually gold efficient and you should purchase immediately are the boots of swiftness upgrade, just because it gives you so much movement speed. But like for example, the like steel caps, you can get the same gold value from a chain vest as you can from buying those boots. So it's not like super good and like a good way to spend your money when you can just work towards a full item instead. But I mean, anyways, yeah, Super Bear. He's got that dog in him.
He is. Gonna be seeing now. We're 2 for 2 on these smite steals.
Hopefully can give you some confidence too. I mean, I know that always helped me out when I was a player. Just gives you some confidence for the rest of the game, and allows you to play a bit better. So, we will see Gwen going for a bit of an engage here. We will have Super Bear and the gangplank calls, so a lot of Valpo in the area. And that R3 not finding ever. Oh, and that was actually an R2. Going to find the shutdown on Malzahar and waste the Malzahar ult CD. And we do have Otacon being started up by Huntsville. We do have Dreadful here with the barrels, looking to get a lot of damage. Now have Gwen TPing in after the reset, picking up an item as well along the way. And Fury, Super Bear in deep, is going to get picked up by the Lilia. And Lilia prancing around. They have an ult.
We could see that rel. Oh, we are going to see that really good rel engage. Plus,
Oh my
going to do
goodness,
a lot of
barrels
damage.
Too. The Ziggs on the barrels just doing so much, and Jakimbo on a killing spree now, and a triple kill by Dreadful. Dreadful does have to tip his cap to the law though, and Diadem for helping with some of that damage, but Dreadful with an incredible fight there.
Absolutely huge communication there. Seeing that that Lilia was low. Not going to be. I don't know if Valpo knew if that flash timer was down or not, but going to be able to take that punish and get a lot. That's going to be a ruinous Otacon going for the side of Valpo here, and giving them a whole bunch of extra adaptive force and XP, going to really help accelerate them.
Very big for their team comp too. Just with the gangplank, Gwen level 16 is super strong, and Nefiri too for that matter. But Flower's really good on this team.
And with that, Valpo is going to take a 3.2k gold lead. However, keep in mind that none of these additional stats are being shown through this. So, also, don't forget with that dragon, that also does mean additional. That does mean additional boost of every other epic monster. So extra slow resistance and extra healing.
Cloud Soul really good on both of these teams too. Really good on Jax, on Lilia.
Jakimbo.
Nefiri, and then Gwen for sure.
And now the fact that, because it's 10%, I believe, 10% passive, 50% after ultimate, which now means that goes to a 12.5% and a 62.5%.
Morel dropping really low, but is going to stun up a couple there. Valpo just trying to finish the jungle, and a huge smite secure for Super Bear. And wow, Gwen able to pick up a double kill as well as Dreadful picking up a kill too. Law does get slain as well as Diadem, but it is going to be a 3 for 2 for Valpo. And once again, I mean, Super Bear 3 for 3 on these 50-50s. I mean, that's just so big. I mean, they in these 50-50s, they could be down 3 drags to 1, but instead they're up 3 drags to 1. I mean, that is very, very significant.
I was gonna say that. I'd say that. Otherwise, we would see that Alabama would have Soul if they lost all 3 of those dragons.
Oh, one of the 50-50s was in game 1.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I forgot.
It would have been on Soul Point. I mean, massive though.
A huge amount of breathing room here. Valpo going to look to push out some waves. Not going to unfortunately be able to get any more towers here. But overall, going to looks like to start securing vision for Baron here. If Valpo's able to obtain Baron and just kind of... If Valpo's able to obtain Baron, there can be a lot of pressure now, especially that Jakimbo has to be extremely close to hitting 16.
And almost has that Rabadon's 3rd item online. And 10 stacks on the ring.
Well, we're going to see Lilia's going to counter jungle slightly. Jakimbo trying to look for something. Maybe... Ooh, that could be... Oh, Lilia doesn't have ult, so not worried about getting fully dove in there. Gonna have to give up trying to fight for this blue buff. We are gonna see that Braum was actually the one able to take it. And I do believe this wave should hopefully make Jakimbo 16, which it does.
They're now 27 minutes into this game. Valpo is up 3k gold. Oh, but we do see a GPL is going to commit to this, but Jack's flashing away now. Dreadful at 3 items with the cape on top of it. Going to be close to 100% crit. Actually, I think he probably has it.
I think it's 90. No, does the Trinity gives 25%, doesn't it?
Oh. Yeah, it's not going to tell us.
Unfortunately, only those stats are available to the players. We are going to see that with this CS, that gold lead's going to start diminishing for the side of Valpo there. I'm going to be just around 2,500 gold. Valpo needing to kind of start doing something with this gold lead as Alabama's going to be able to start slowly clawing that gold lead back.
Yeah, I mean, the great thing is I think Valpo just outscales them. So yeah, I think that's like the reality of the situation is like the same amount of gold is just going to be more value to Valpo because having Gwen and Gangplank as well as Nefiri just at full build is going to be super scary. Although Jax scales really well, it's just not going to be enough against Valpo's team. With that being said, the scaling is just giving you an advantage. It's not, you know, winning you the game open and shut. That's where the execution comes into play, and we're gonna see it have to come into play with Dragon spawning in 130 and a bit of positioning coming out here. We do have Braum using ult there, and that is a big cooldown that was misclicked on.
But I don't know if Valpo was able to be fully given that information, so they might still be playing as if Braum does have it.
I mean, it'll be a pleasant surprise when they don't all get knocked up. You have Gangplank in the bot lane with TP and ult available.
We're going to see that Lilia does look like to be backing here. Probably does have that 3rd item or at least another major component. Oh, no, she's going to cancel.
Yeah, one thing we could see is Valpo just decide to go for Baron around when this dragon spawns or just before it because they have the luxury to be able to give a dragon if needed. Or they could contest Soul, but we'll see what they end up deciding. Right now we do have Jakimbo in the top lane with TP available. Diadem trying to get some mid-prow here. And a bit of a late recall here by the Lilia. We have some pings coming out from Huntsville towards the dragon. Zahar heading top with TP as well.
It does look like Valpo, I think, might be looking towards... I think Valpo might be looking towards Dragon here. Bringing a lot of their people over. We're going to see that Malzahar is in the top lane, is able to teleport. is able to teleport if a fight breaks out, or walk if he's able to be given the luxury of time.
FTP coming out from Malzahar, but potentially going to be too late. The Law having to use his engage to disengage there. You have Huntsville, a bit split here, going to have 3 members up, 2 members down, while Valpo is grouped as 5. Love to see it for Valpo. You have Gangplank going for the barrels, not going to be able to find any big damage just yet. Malzahar going to be looking for an ult. Once again, the Law having to disengage here. But some nice poke from the Ziggs, and we will have Gwen use the ultimate with R1. R2 will be spent on nothing here. It's R3, looking for it. Fortunately, probably not going to be able to find too much.
Going to pop the spell shield.
You have the Gangplank ult doing a lot of damage and some zoning. Lilia with a Q on 3 people, able to get the ult, and the Zonya is dreadful. Finding the kill on Lilia though. And Gangplank picking up the double kill. Now we have Super Bear diving in with the ultimate. Is going to get exhausted. A big MF ult. Going to be able to find 2. One from the Malzahar. Jikimbo diving in there. Is not able to find one but get too low. And just Diadem alive for Valpo. And although that fight was looking in Valpo's favor early, the misfortune will really turn that one around. And Dragon going to go over to Huntsville, so going to pick up their second Dragon of the game. Not going to be able to pick up the Baron or anything else, so not worst case scenario, but a bit of gold is going to go to the side of Huntsville as well.
Definitely. Not even a miscommunication because the team was ready for it, but Super Bear going on that second engage, being kind of what solidified what was a really good play, and even just maybe trading so that Dragon wasn't taken there, into something that turned into positive for Alabama.
Yeah, Valpo is just really low after those, and you do have Nefiri ulting in with low HP, getting exhausted, not really able to do much after that. And then I believe it was Gangplank getting clipped by the MF ult and dying as well from that last Dragon auto. Then Jikimbo dashed over the wall with the Q, but I mean, once again, just super low HP. But the Lilia had a really nice engage. It was tough to follow up on, but did do quite a bit of damage. But yeah, I mean, that flash Q ult is pretty solid engage option for Huntsville. Anyways, I mean, gonna be pretty even here. Probably just gonna be waiting around until this next Dragon in 345, or a team decides to
Start Baron.
Start Baron, yeah.
I was going to say, again, Goldly going to be just around back to normal. Again, Valpo being able to use that gold slightly more effectively. But again, as we said earlier, it's about how it's not necessarily about how much you have. It's also about how you use it, and still be effective.
I will say before that, we might actually have something happen here. Oh my goodness, just and an ult here is going to be able to dash. Will he get picked up? The MF not able to finish it off. The Ziggs ult. And a bit of an overextension from Huntsville. Ziggs able to find one with that ultimate. MF going to be low. We do have Gwen dashing in. Not going to have Ghost available. Dreadful picking up that kill.
And you're going to see
not going to have Ghost
Valpo
available because she doesn't have Ghost.
You're going to see that that while it was a good idea from Lilia, that ultimate overextension from Alabama going to be what's going to give Valpo a free Baron with maybe trading the bottom tier 2.
Yeah, they're going to have to give the Baron here. Jack's going to pick up the tower unless if Gangplank uses ult here on this wave. But I mean, that tower's pretty much gone. But anyways, a bit of an overextension and mistake from Huntsville, and going to be a big advantage for Valpo. UAH in the jar.
But with this, we now have 2 minutes and 40 seconds of a Baron power play in effect. So Valpo needing to use this opportunity to start clearing some turrets and start. You have a Ziggs, you have Baron. There is no reason why Valpo should not be getting and knocking out a few towers here.
Yeah, we'll say this is our most viewed League of Legends game probably ever, and I forgot that I have to mod the chat, but good thing they are well behaving.
Oh, we're going to see that Rel's going to come in with an ultimate. We're going to see that. We're going to see Braum going to come in with an ultimate and a flash as well. That exhaust going to be gone onto Rel, not onto Gwen, and Jim going to be able to find the double kill. If you're taking a lot of damage here, but not gonna fall. Seeing the back, but this should be an opportunity for Valpo to start getting some towers here. Rel going to miss. Not gonna be able to find the engage. A lot of damage is going off on the side of Valpo. Valpo needing this still. Valpo needs to play this, but play this a little bit safe. But just like kind of a eerily repeat on the game one. Oh, we're gonna see that is gonna be a
Oh, not
kill
able to get the
on
Zonias off.
Solilia.
Yeah, she was trying to get the ult Zonias, but just forgot the part where they pressed ult Zonias. But anyways, this should be it for the game with the Baron and just so much damage here for Valpo. Jax is going to go in. Malzahar with the ult. There's just too much damage for Valpo. And the strategy of just picking OP champions and just throwing them wherever worked. Yeah. I mean, just pick Gwen and Nefiri, win the game. It doesn't matter where they go. That's something. But Valpo going to tie this one up, and we're going to be heading to game 3. But kind of closing thoughts on that game and what Valpo needs to be thinking about heading into game 3.
I think that really a lot of this game now I think could be in a ball of Alabama's court. Mainly the reason why I say that is we've seen that it was a 5-man ban onto Jakimbo, and now with some pretty big picks, I think that the teams can know. You're either gonna have to ban Gwen, ban Fury. We're gonna have to see what Alabama's going to choose. But this team comp worked really well for Valpo, and at least one of those champions will be available if. Well, at least one of those champions will be available if Alabama doesn't change their ban strategy, which could mean that Jakimbo, one of his kind of main picks, is going to be opened up.
Yeah, I think the issue is you have to throw some bans at Kimbo just because like those like S tier champions that he have are like so good and will absolutely take over a game. But like the reality of the situation is like no matter what champion he plays, he's still gonna have a massive impact on the game, and that's why he's a good player. But I mean, anyways, heading into game 3, didn't want to tip my cap. We had some nice friendly trash talk that I actually really enjoyed. Only thing dreadful is Valpo's gameplay. Yeah, tip my cap. Respect some jolly good competitiveness in the chat. So love to see it. Big game here today though. But yeah, we'll be right back with game 3, and this series is delivering so far. Valpo fighting. We
Welcome,
are back.
welcome back to Game 3 of this Best of 3 series. Valpo versus University of Alabama. Taking a quick look at the pick and bans. We had to get some things ready in the booth. We're going to see that Alabama going to keep the same three bands of Talia, Aurora, and Syndra. Valpo going to respond with that Mordekaiser, that Jinx, and that Gwen. All characters that we were seeing in either that first or second game.
Yeah, and that little gap there where Valpo doesn't have a pick, that is actually going to be a Swain for Valpo. So going to be the Swain, Kaisa, and J4. So some pretty strong team fighting. Valpo opting to ban that Cassidon now. And you do have blue side being picked by University of Alabama in Huntsville. So that blue side being the preferred side of this series. Banning the Anivia. Interesting. I didn't think the Anivia was.
That big of a playmaker.
Yeah, I'm surprised they banned the Anivia. But I mean that's just gonna leave something else open for Jakimbo. So we shall see. And top or mid is going to have counter picks. So that's gonna be benefit of this red side. It's gonna be interesting to see where this Swain ends up going. If it ends up going mid or support, because I could see either.
Like I think we Jinko might have a tiny bit more practice mid. We're gonna see the Vel'Koz ban once again, a Penta ban onto the side of Jakimbo here. But yeah, it could either be that support as a flex. I guess maybe not anymore now with the hover over Khan.
Yeah, I will say the law is extremely good on Rakan. So I was actually expecting that Swain to go mid. But based off of UAH's bans, sometimes their team may know better than I do. And we'll have that counter pick in the top lane. So a lot of different options available. Could see the Renekton, could see the Darius, could see Mbessa, Pink Gangplank again. Um, but yeah, I mean, ultimately it comes down to what Huntsville ends up picking here and what could be the best option, not only for Valpo, but also countering that top laner.
We're gonna see that Camille pick. Kind of Dreadful Zone champion's gonna kind of he'll see a resurgence of her in the top lane
So with that, I'm gonna expect to see a Darius or a Renekton.
from Dreadful. I would say I have to agree. I mean, I could think it could be fun, but I don't think it would be any makes any sense to see an Ornn pick here.
I think Valpo just needs some more damage, especially with the Swain. So I would expect, honestly, number one expectation would be the Renekton, and then number two,
So Renekton or Darius,
I don't know what
I
else. I mean,
Atrax.
pretty much those are the options. Kale, oh, Kale could be a pick. Probably are gonna go with the Renekton. That was kind of my 1A expectation. Um, yeah, I mean, Kale could have been interesting. Haven't seen Dreadful play as much. But if you are expecting the game to go late, Kale being a little bit better with those flowers and with the season changes, just doesn't do super well into Camille. IMO.
I would say I have to agree. All scaling champions, I feel like kind of got a nice indirect boost with these flowers. I'm just being able to kind of accelerate the game state. A 25-minute game feeling more like a 30, especially if you were more like 35 if you're on the winning side. But with that, it's going to be a kind of another interesting draft. Seeing the Lilia again in the Jarvan, not going to be the most fun for Super Bear. The Swain going to be, I guess, against the Maokai. Um, but overall, anything else before we head into this third game?
No, I think that's it. We'll see you guys after the delay in just a few minutes. And welcome back to Game 3 of NECC Division 3 National Quarterfinals. We did have a bit of a pause, so the client's not too happy about it, but we should be back in just a moment here, theoretically.
Hopefully.
And we'll figure it out. But anyways, looking at these comps, there we go. Oh, we do actually see some early pings, so we are going to pause that for a minute. As we do see Huntsville wanting to get some deep vision, as well as Valpo wanting to get some deep vision here. So we do have 3 members stacked up here. Oh no. Phew. Luckily there is no CC to stop that J4, but we will have okay. They are able to get the ward on the red buff. Valpo not able to get any return vision there. Some early vision and info.
Get that Q up for a tiny bit of extra damage.
There we go. You have to be a little careful here. You actually have the engage on in the Maokai. Maokai gonna drop quite low. Gonna have to flash. It does not have X flash. That's actually a pretty big cooldown there. So the level 1 shenanigans going to give Valpo a tiny edge here in the early game.
Gonna be a lot nicer for D&M and the lot here to just make sure that they have a little bit more time to go again, a little bit easier of a time to go against.
We do have both junglers starting the top side. Have intel on that eventually. I think lanes to watch here are going to be top lane once again. I mean, with that Ezreal not going to be super crazy in the early game, probably just going to be one in the farm up, especially with Maokai having that flash down. And then Dreadful being Dreadful as well as playing the Renekton, probably going to see some more early aggression in the top lane. That mid lane matchup, I mean, we'll see what happens. Swain typically, more just kind of clearing waves, but Neferi can be aggressive. As we do already see some heavy trades coming out early.
From both sides, Camille going to be slightly ahead. Dreadful does need to respect that Ignite, as that is really big early kill potential.
Yeah, I will say Camille tends to prefer those shorter trades, while Renekton does like the, vice versa. Renekton does like those kind of quick dash in, dash out trades, while Camille likes the bit of the longer trades. It is a bit deceptive though, because Conquer you typically think longer trades, and Grasp you typically think more beneficial. But I mean, anyways, those trades are going to be really big in this matchup to see how it goes.
It's going to start seeing some stacking. Something nice to see though is the fact that with Jakimbo does have infinite stacking, giving that extra health, which we've seen a lot of times on that swing can, especially because he wants to be in the middle of that action, kind of almost act as a second gank. Oh, and the dash going to kind of get negated a little bit. We're kind of taking a lot of damage here, and Valpo kind of losing that trade.
We'll say what's interesting about Huntsville's jungler is they always opt to go for their 5th camp before their 6th camp buff. Oh, but we do have an early engage. Going to have the exhaust go out, but Maokai without flash is going to go down. Do have members of Valpo pretty low here. Maokai was able to pick up that kill on Rakan with the ignite. Going to be a 2-for-1 for Huntsville.
And Huntsville going to be able to grab this first Void Grub. Started off strong, but kind of unfortunately having that like almost delayed 4v3 going to be going to start accelerating that Lilia a decent bit and kind of chip away at any of the benefits that Valpo's bottom lane was going to have.
But yeah, what I was gonna say is that slows down your tempo just a bit, but gives you that buff a little longer when you decide to path that way. It's slightly less optimal, which is why J4 actually got there first. But with having mid-prow, was eventually end up winning that early scuffle, and the 2-for-1 does go Huntsville's way. So going to have a bit of early gold advantage, as well as one more tick towards the feats of warfare. But 5 minutes in this one. Going to have dragons spawning in 10 seconds here, as well as grubs in 1 minute and 10 seconds.
going to be a little bit of a visual bug, just curious to see what this first dragon's going to be. And the game, these teams gave us a best of 3, so we have to get this right eventually, right? We got to.
We will see. Oh, not able to time up that flag and drag. It's going to be a nice trade in the mid lane as well as a nice trade in the top lane.
I'm going to try to find something. Not going to be able to find too much here. We obviously the first dragon is Mountain. The Fury going to be low. Swain going to be able to help us establish priority, but we're going to have to see both of these mid layers are probably going to back into TP, and Swain not having much mana to be able to speak of.
Yeah, we did see game 1, the grubs weren't super heavily prioritized, but in game 2, they were very heavily prioritized. So we will see what the teams end up doing. So far, we do have both supports down here in the bot lane still, so that's kind of an early tell for how this one's going to go. We do have Jakimbo using teleport to get a mid lane faster. It looks like Huntsville will have the mid prow, but Valpo going to have that top prow. Lilia does do a bit better with the grubs, so Lilia can also be very, because of her speed and mobility, can be a bit tough for J4 to get that knockup on.
We're going to see that it's kind of going to be a stalemate, going to go slightly. We're going to see that the potential 3v3 is, or the 2v2 starting now, the 3v2 going to be able to start sooner.
Huntsville is going to have first rotation. Lilia going to have level 6, and J4 will not go down, but going to have to get out. They will eventually go down. Dreadful is quite low. Kimbo is in here with ult, and now he's kind of stuck in the middle of 3 of them with his ult available. Probably not going to be able to do too much. Grubs do go over the way. All 3 grubs, in fact. Or no, just 1 grub. But that is going to be all 3 members of Valpo going over to Huntsville, and that's going to be 3 for nothing.
We're gonna see that gold going to Camille and the Fury, and going to another kill to the Maokai. Maokai, you kind of want, if you're a Valpo fan, you want to see that gold going onto that support, because they typically have less direct impact, or at least the gold difference isn't going to be as big.
Yeah. I will say, in that bot skirmish and in the topside skirmish, Huntsville's mid laner had first move and prio, and that's what allowed them to win those fights. They had the 3v2 advantage in both of those fights. It was 4v3 and then 3v2 in that top lane fight, and that was significant because Valpo went down 0-3 in that team fight, and that 1,000 plus gold lead is going to be very big early in this game.
So we're going to start getting some more damage from the Fury. Going to take a little bit more from, it looks like, the remnants of that E. Camille getting that stun, going to slow Renekton down a tiny bit. Renekton choosing to freeze that wave.
I have Lilia with 100% KP so far, and this jungler for Huntsville has had quite the series so far on pretty much every facet of the game other than smiting. So, you have Renekton, okay, not gonna ult there. Yeah, I mean, and this Lilia and the counter jungling, it's been tough to deal with. He's able to outsmite on that one now.
Oh, and that root is going to be big. Oh, that ult's out.
Able to flash out though. We'll have Dragon up. Start it.
Fury going to be able to grab this. Fury going to be able to grab this. Ooh, Kaisa taking a lot of damage, but forcing the pop barrier here.
Ezreal hitting every skill shot, is going to flash away, so this Maokai going to be in a pretty bad spot. And will get picked up by Super Bear. One there. Diadem using both summoner spells there though.
And we're going to see that he did have ult up. I do believe ult died right before he was able to use it. That extra shield could have probably saved him. But again, that extra kill once again going on Maokai versus that kill going on Jarvan the Fourth. Not necessarily a horrible thing, especially for a trade.
As far as CS goes, we have quite a large CS lead in the top lane, and that's helping Valpo keep this gold lead somewhat close. Jungle is quite a big advantage CS-wise to Huntsville, and the 5 assists going to give Lilia that shutdown. And then pretty much even everywhere else.
And not even only that assist, but we're going to see that slightly magical footwear was able to get done. But taking a quick look at the gold distribution here. Top lane going to be up about 300 gold. Jungle only down around 300, which is kind of surprising. It's not that surprising, actually, if you look at the difference between the 2 kills and the extra CS. Mid lane down around 200, bottom lane down around 400, and then around 600 for the support.
That's where that gold lead is coming for Huntsville, but we do have this dragon up, but the grubs are up again. We'll see. It looks like Huntsville is actually playing mostly around this bot side. They have a lot of bot prio right now. We have TP being used in the top lane. Lilia actually working up 2 grubs. Valpo should have first move in the top and mid lane, but we'll see.
Yeah, that first bleeding. Ooh, Jarvan gonna be fighting this Lilia here. The better collapse into the 3v2 here. Renekton on his way. Ooh, that grab going to be
Let's
huge.
have flash down.
Ultimately, we are gonna see that drowsy, but that's not gonna be enough. As Valpo's gonna be able to secure these void grabs. Camille and Nefiri looking for something. Maokai also on their way. Valpo needing to be careful here and respect this distance.
I will say though, with Lilia down, there's not too much they can do because it is kind of a support versus a jungler being the difference there. And Ezreal having a force flash there. I do like Valpo trying to force in that bot lane 2v1. Also trying to force in this top lane 2v1.
Some good aggressive plays by Valpo here. Ooh, and that root going to be a pretty big chunk of damage for Swain. Gonna get hit by, unfortunately, gonna get hit by that Q1. Gonna take a little bit more chip damage. Nefiri does look like to start be roaming down to the bot lane. Valpo just needs to respect it, but we have Rakam with Symbiote Soul, so that extra back is going to make a big difference.
$12 minutes into this one, plates will be dropping in 2 minutes. Ooh, and we do have the Nefiri going on. Gonna use flash as well. Kimbo though with ult up gonna be pretty tanky. Camille is gonna ult on the J4 now. We got a lot of action both lanes. Jakimbo gonna find the kill on the Fury, and Dreadful finding the kill on the Camille, while Lilia picks up the Dragon. So a lot of action, but Valpo able to find 2 kills there and pick up some shutdowns, and they're actually gonna be up in gold now. So Valpo through some pretty incredible plays from the solo laners, going to even this one up and actually take the lead.
Lilia going to be looking to do a little bit of extra damage. Going to again be counter jungling, taking as much of that advantage. Diadem going to start to get caught. Maokai unfortunately caught on the tower, and not going to be able to escape.
Alain's got to be thanking Jakimbo for that TP right now, because not only does it dissuade the dive, but also going to help Diadem pick up a kill there. And Valpo, out of nowhere, has turned this game around and now have a pretty decent lead.
The Rakan gonna look for something. Does have ultimate. Ezreal is going to.
I'm still gonna be down here.
Doesn't have dash or doesn't have flash. That Swain W going to do a decent bit to do much, but unfortunately, we're gonna see that the ult and the ignite from the Rakan weren't enough, unfortunately, to find Valpo's bot lane another kill.
Top side, potentially looking for a play on the Renekton, or just looking for some counter juggling potential here. See both junglers run into each other, but Ezreal starting to poke away.
Okay, so taking a lot of damage, needing to respect that Ezreal does have ultimate.
This Ezreal pretty darn good with his skill shots.
I'm just
mid lane.
Light scuffle. Ezreal not going to ultimate there. Going to keep it either for vision or for keep it in his back pocket for a rainy day. Now taking a decent bit of damage. That wave going to crash, but Ezreal just going to back instead. Going to get his first item, which which will be the.
Lilia is here now. Not going to have flash available for Dreadful. Is able to dodge the first Q, but we'll have Lilia potentially pop ult here. Ult comes out now. Sleepy time. Drowsy. Will the Q be enough? Not able to come out in time. And almost a big play by Dreadful, but just not able to work out. And That's some nice damage. I will say what's big with the Lilia counter jungling is not only the fact that she's just taking every camp possible from Super Bear, but also dropping some wards down while she's there as well. So having that deep vision, going to know where Super Bear is, and it just further perpetuates the issue of the counter jungling, as well as knowing where J4 is at. Is going to flash ult to pick up that kill. I bet he wasn't expecting all that movement. The flag and drag with the flash with the ult just going to get you so far. Even though Camille knew you were there, just was not ready for all that.
Super, this is showing kind of Super's flagship of being a very aggressive jungler. Going to be on full benefit for their team, as I don't think normally you're expecting that. You're expecting their jungler to go kind of as deep as they were. But with that, that is going to be Renekton getting this first turret. Would love to see him grabbing that flower there, but we're going to see that the feet of turrets is going to kind of move slightly towards the side of Valpo.
We're tied up 7 kills to 7 kills. Valpo having the advantage in gold. Just mostly from those plates and a little bit from the CS advantage as well in some of the lanes. Lone Dragon did go the way of Huntsville, but going to have this next dragon in a minute. It is going to be Ocean Dragon. And with that, what is your guess for the soul?
Chemtech.
Guessing Hextech again.
If it's Infernal or Cloud, we us in the booth will have a lot of fun time.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Valpo's just gonna have to give us another series then.
So maybe that's what happens. We have to keep getting it wrong. Oh, we're gonna see a little bit of a fight going in here.
We're gonna have to flash out here. You have Swain. They'll end up getting the pull here. Not going to commit on anything, but could work their way to this Rift Herald with dropping Lilia low and the flash. Have seen that Lilia use the flash Q ult combo quite a bit in this series, or at least in the last game.
Going to be strong. Jakimbo not going to be able to fully, not going to be able to be a big fighter here, as he is pretty low. That extra health, meaning the difference between being like fully unsafe and just kind of needing to back away. Does have
TP. Huntsville does pick up that second dragon. Valpo is going to be able to pick up this Rift Herald though.
And
oh, it's Chemtech.
We were finally right in the booth. 0 out of 1 out of 14.
Well, now if we lose this game, it's on you.
No, no, it's not. It's the worst version of the caster curse known to man.
I was wondering what you were celebrating about.
I was celebrating that I was right. However, we're gonna hope that we're gonna hope that it's a 2-for-1. I'm right, and we're gonna get more games. We are gonna see that the bot lane turret is gonna get destroyed. Going to start opening up this map a little bit. The Fury clearing this vision. But overall, just again, kind of not being a slow game by any means, but Valpo is up right around 1,200 gold.
Yeah, and the feats will go down to the objectives, or monsters, slain monsters, are able to pick up the tier 1. And Malkai going in deep does get a follow all the way with the flag and drag. I will say, you will always get value from the Rift Herald if you just walk in and take the tier 1. Rift Herald can be a very swinging in value. It can be very high value, very low value, but you will always get value out of it if you take that mid tier 1. It's the most important turret. They just decide to walk there, drop it, take it, because it's just going to give you access into their jungle, give you so much more space to play around. Anyways, not going to see another objective for 3 minutes and 15 seconds with this dragon. So until then, Valpo and Huntsville both just going to want to be farming up, securing some vision in the opponent's jungle. But other than that, kind of just leveling up and farming up.
We're going to see that bot lane is probably going to be a source of contention for some teams, as we do see. I do believe that this is false. This will be False Life Archon that will be spawning shortly.
Oh yeah, I guess that's an objective.
It counts as it feels again. It feels epic. It feels more Baron-y than that, but yeah, Baron technically counts as it.
You won't be seeing any teams start that anytime soon.
And Renekton trying to find that Camille teleport or recalling, but not going to be able to. Again, lanes are going to kind of still be stale for a while. So you were right. The objective is spawning, but with it being so long and no teams really should taking it this early, it really is going to be about two minutes before we're going to have any objective plays. Taking a quick look, Valpo up right around 2,000 gold. We are going to see that the Roa did finish onto the Swain, making him level 14 here. Going to start being pretty big towards that level 16 spike.
Quick level 14 too.
Yeah, I think he just hit 13, and then the
He's
Roa.
2 levels up on Nefaria. That's pretty significant.
On clearing out this vision, Lilia going to punish Rakan for doing so.
Yeah, I mean, just gonna have a bit of stall in the action until this next dragon comes up. But we are a minute 30 away now, so we will see teams trying to complete those items, get some vision around that bot river, bot jungle area. Other than that, shouldn't have too much going on, but we do see a bit of a skirmish here around this scuttle. Oh, and a nice knockup. We may see a J4 ult. We do have first move from the Camille as well as Maokai and Ezreal here. We actually will see a team fight come out here. Camille with the ultimate, going to find that shutdown onto the J4. Rakan unfortunately going down too. Camille will have the double kill. And going to have to flash and dash out. Will go down as well. And I really just don't like Valpo fighting over the scuttle. I mean, there's not really any reason to fight there. But anyways, Huntsville going to pick up 3 kills there and even up this gold lead. Do have Diadem doing some nice damage, but Maokai and Lilia going to be in the area, going to flash on. Is going to be able to ult away. With that exhaust going to be slowed up. Maokai having to flash away now.
And Diadem going to be able to get out of that.
Yeah. Going to use some big cooldowns before this drag fight is here. But with that being said, I mean, Huntsville going to have to reset here, so Valpo may actually be in even position, but it's going to be tough to work their way through this vision.
But I was going to say, yeah, you were right. Fighting for that scuttle really, again.
If you don't have, like, you know, vision and know that it's like a safe fight to take, even though Lilia was a bit low there, it's just an ill-advised fight to take, and there's not really much reason for it. It's just too risky, you know, even if you do get the kill there. But we do have J4. Oh, it is going to caught out. That flag and drag doesn't go through, but we do have Jakimbo using the ult here. Camille in the back line here, and Lilia going to be able to find the shutdown. Rakan does find the charm onto 4 people. Renekton trying to go crazy here, but this should be an ace for Huntsville, and it's going to be a clean ace. That's going to be a 5-0 for Huntsville, and that will be a significant win there for Huntsville. A big team fight, going to pick up the dragon as well.
Big momentum swing here between these last 2 fights. Going to the side of Alabama, going to keep Alabama in the game, and actually going to swing the pendulum to giving them around, I believe, a 4K lead. And with this being
too.
I do believe this is false life Otacon.
I will say, I mean, the big thing in that fight was Maokai Q interrupted the J4 flag and drag away, trying to disengage there and wasn't able to do so. And then after that, I mean, each member kind of went one by one. So unfortunately, Valpo fully committing to that dragon fight and getting clean wiped, not optimal. Going to be 3 dragons to none. Another not ideal thing with this game is they're forced to contest this next dragon in 4 minutes and 20 seconds. And as far as their like gold lead item wise, level wise, not sure if they're going to be ready for it, but they're going to have to be if they want a chance in this game.
And that Otacon actually going to be, I believe, or no, the Chemtech Drake was that final feat towards Monster Sling. Go into the side of Alabama. What do you think we need to see here for Valpo to swing the pendulum back in their favor?
They need to regain vision control in their jungle, as well as hope that Huntsville, gets caught out, gets split, makes some sort of mistake and capitalize on it. Because if Huntsville plays flawlessly, they're going to win this game. But I mean, luckily, no collegiate team ever plays flawlessly, or pro team for that matter. So when those mistakes happen, when they're overextended, when they're caught out alone, you're going to need to be able to capitalize. And majority of the time, you're only going to be able to do that when you have vision in your own jungle. Because reality of it is I don't. Huntsville probably does outscale Valpo here.
Almost needs to take a moment, shake it off, calm down, realize that the game is.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to tilt here. I mean, the game is still winnable. It is not over. I mean, you're only down 4K gold. The issue is the dragon stacking. They're down 3 dragons to 1. So I mean, they're gonna have to find a perfect fight here, but it is doable. I mean, it's got to be a big dual engage from the Law and Super Bear. Fortunately, Renekton becomes less and less effective like the further you get behind in the game. Renekton can be an absolute monster if he's ahead, but when he starts getting behind, it starts just becoming not super strong, I guess.
Feeling a lot weaker. Boom, we're going to see that the solo ultimate from Swain onto Nefiri here. Trying to find that final E, but not going to be able to. That Leandri's actually not going to allow him to stay in.
You have Diadem caught far up in the mid lane here. He's going to have to flash barrier and ult. You have J4 using ult, trying to help the team disengage, but it's still going to go down. And you know how that happened was you had Maokai and Lilia coming from Valpo's jungle and they just didn't know. And we do have Nefiri engaged on Jakimbo here. And without ult available, that will be the kill. Just holding on to the summoner spells there. Kind of just have to have them. And you do have the ult going on. And with a kill for Huntsville in each lane, that is demoralizing for Valpo for sure. Now we do have objective bounties available. This inhibitor is going to go down. Huntsville is going to reset and turn their eyes to the Chemtech Soul, which you correctly predicted. That I wanted to remind our faithful viewers.
No comment. But we are gonna see though as that we're gonna see that that Alabama is gonna go for get that Baron, not having any true response. Super just getting off of his death timer. Is it Jakimbo? Jakimbo going to get off maybe a super lucky eye grab, but other than that, that Baron is going to go to the side of Alabama, giving them a power play, and with them being up around 7,500 gold, Valpo has kind of one last final fight in them to determine if the game is going to swing for the rest of this game.
Yeah, I think the issue in this game is, sometimes when Valpo has a bad fight, we talk about, stemming the bleeding. For here, it really kind of snowballed. You had, one mistake leading to the next where they didn't really, take a deep breath, let it really reset. But this is going to be Valpo's last chance here. Well, I guess not last chance, but, big fight here. We'll see what Valpo decides to do. I mean, they're pretty much forced to contest, but Huntsville already on the dragon and it's getting quite low, and Soul will be taken, and now they're caught out here. You have Rakan going in, able to find a couple knock-up. Lilia will go unstoppable here. Do have Jakimbo using ult. Sleep is going to go out on a couple members here. Ezreal picking up the kill on Kaisa. Renekton going to be on 3 members here, but not able to find much, and that will be a clean ace for Huntsville, and that will be the series going the way of University of Alabama in Huntsville. But yeah, I mean, very well played game 3 by Huntsville. Definitely got to tip your cap here. But I mean, at the end of the day, very proud of Valpo and the season they had, qualifying for the national tournament, and their run is going to end in the quarterfinals, but quite a phenomenal season. I believe they had a really good season in the fall. I forget exactly what they did place, but going to finish 3rd in the spring in their region, and then going to finish top 8, in the country in Division 3 NECC. So Very, very strong season. But yeah, I mean, you have anything to say as a departing senior in this class?
Well, I've now that I've only said it like 3 or 4 times at this point, not really. It's been an absolute pleasure to be able to play with these lovely teammates for the past 2 years, and League of Legends will still continue to be a game that I will play and remember fondly my time as a collegiate player, but also being able to cast here in the booth. It's very different looking at this perspective. But you guys will probably not be rid of me for casting for a little bit as we have a whole bunch of other games that are just starting their finalist playoffs. Academy Overwatch, Varsity Overwatch, Rocket League, and I do believe Smash all will have games in these coming weeks. But this week is mostly, I believe, off as most teams start taking their Easter breaks.
Yep. So our next game will be next Thursday. So in 9 days, NECC going on Easter break. So we'll have Rocket League next Thursday, and then Academy and Varsity Overwatch next Friday for their NECC quarterfinal matches. But thank you so much for tuning in. But that's it for us this week. We're starting to ramp down into the school year, but we will see you guys next Thursday for Rocket League NECC quarterfinals. It's been a pleasure. My name's Henry Speedy Kill Ninja.
And I'm Adam Monsieur, and we'll catch you soon next Thursday. And go Beacons!